Alright, next up is problem 356. And so that's looking at the profitability of orders and opportunity cost. And so in this problem, we have a company that produces and sells 80,000 boxes of specialty foods each year. Each box contains an assortment of food. And it starts giving us some data for the cost. So we have variable production cost, fixed production cost, variable selling, and fixed selling for a total cost of $1.4 million. And they normally charge $25 for each box, but a new distributor has come in and offered to purchase 8,000 boxes at a special price of $22 per box. If Dawson decides to take this on, they'll incur an extra dollar of packaging cost to complete the order. So in part A, it says, suppose Dawson has the surplus to take this on. So it's saying, hey, we can take on these extra 8,000 and not affect what we're currently selling. And so what will the effect on income be if we accept this offer? So if we go over here, we can see our inputs. And so we just took the information that was in the problem and put it over in Excel. And so the first thing we want to do is figure out our variable cost per unit. So we have two different kinds of variable costs. We have variable production and variable selling. And so for the variable production, we just take our 400,000 and divide it by our 80,000 units. And then for the variable selling cost, take our 320,000 and divide that by our 80,000 units. So our variable cost are 4 and 5, so a total of $9. And so for part A, to figure out if we should accept this offer or not, so first we want to understand what our incremental revenue is. And so our incremental revenue is going to be our 8,000 units that we would sell times what we'd sell it for, which is $22. So $176,000 of revenue if we accept this deal. Now for our cost related to this, we're going to sell 8,000 units, and our variable cost is going to be our 5 from up here plus our 4 for the variable selling cost. I'll just be consistent, punch in 4, plus we're going to have $1 extra variable cost for packaging for accepting this deal. So the incremental variable cost would be $80,000. So that means our incremental contribution margin, we just subtract the two, would be $96,000. So if we accepted this deal, our profit would go up $96,000. So in this scenario, hey, that's a pretty good deal. And so in the next one, so suppose instead of having surplus capacity, where we can produce those 8,000 boxes plus our normal 80,000, so a total of 88,000. What if we only have the capacity to produce 3,000 more boxes? So instead of producing our normal 80, we can only produce 83, not our 88. And so what effect of income would that have on Dawson? So what that's saying is if we accept that $8,000 deal, that means that's 5,000 units of our normal sales that we couldn't do. So we can look at this in two different ways. So we have method A up here and method B down here. Both will get us to the same answer, but I think A is longer, but it does kind of break things down and makes it a little easier to see, rather than B is just using a formula. So let's start with method A. And so first off, start off by assuming that we do not accept the new order. So this would be just the status quo. So we would sell our normal 80,000 units, and we would sell them at a normal selling price of $25. So we would make $2 million. Then our variable cost would be our 80,000 units times our variable cost, which is the 5 and the 4, so a total of 9. So total variable cost, 720,000, and our fixed cost here. So we have 480,000 and 200,000 for our fixed cost. So that means our profit would be $600,000. So before we even start looking at doing this special deal with this new distributor, where we stand is we make about $600,000 per year. Now let's look at it if we decide to go ahead and accept that offer. So the revenue from the new order, that's going to be our 8,000 units times 20, so what was it, 22. And then we want to figure out what our revenue is for existing orders. And so in this situation, we have a capacity of 83,000 units, but we've used 8 with this special deal, this new distributor. Times our normal selling price. And so from revenue from existing order, existing customers is going to be 1.875. So that means our total revenue in this situation would be 2,051,000. So we'd actually make 51,000 more in pure revenue. But we have to subtract our variable cost. So our variable cost for the new order is going to be our 8,000 units times our variable cost. Our variable cost for our existing orders, that's going to be, now we're only able to sell 75,000 units times the variable cost of just the 9 instead of the 10. And then our fixed cost, which we already calculated above, right here. So total expenses of $1,435,000. This would give us a profit. So take our revenue minus our expenses of $616,000, which means if we accept this deal, even at that reduced capacity, we're still going to make $16,000 more than we would have. So we will make $616,000 instead of our regular $6,000. So still making money, still worth it to do the deal. And so let's do method B, kind of the easy shortcut way of doing it. And so the way we would do that, if we just want to use that cost volume profit formula, is we would take our incremental contribution margin, which is our incremental units that we're going to sell, so the 8,000, and multiply that times our selling price minus our variable cost. So 96,000. So that's our incremental contribution margin, and we're going to subtract out the opportunity cost of those lost sales, where before we could sell 80,000 to the existing customers, now we're only selling 75. So that means that's 5,000 units that we're not going to sell. Multiply that times our selling price to those regular customers minus our variable cost to those regular customers. And I need to put an equals up here. There we go. So we're going to make an additional 96,000, but we're going to give up 80,000. So the difference should be 16,000. And so 2 different ways of doing it to get to the same answer.